Chinese food. My favorite. I love eating with prehistoric tools. Tonight, we're going fully primeval, with a trip in a time machine back to pulp cinema's prehistoric past. So cavemen, grab your clubs, your fake fur jackets, and your ladies by the hair. Oh, not my hair. I just went to the cave salon to get my 50s cave do. Okay, fine. Grab me by the hair and drag me back to the 1950s midnight movie, Prehistoric Women.
There they are, the titular characters, so to speak. The lovable clan of cave girls, the Prehistoric Women. The byline for this 1950-made movie was Prehistoric Women, savage, primitive, and deadly. Now that Black Panther back there was 86'd by the cave dudes, and the cave chicks aren't too happy about it.
A gun and near.
If you've watched this movie a few times, which I have because I'm a sad loser, you'll know that Agan Anera can mean anything from pass me the bone to let's move to a different neighborhood. Anyway, here it comes, the second wave.
Suddenly, Odd falls unconscious. Angor and his tribesmen are amazed to see that they've been attacked by members of the weaker sex.
What, the weaker sex, huh? Well, they don't know their slingshots like girls, do they? Go on, girls. You're enjoying this a little too much. These Goliath-like men are in trouble now. It definitely stirs up some powerful natural emotions, this scene. I mean, I just love the bear and leopard skin outfits, which I'm sure is a very non-PC thing to say because they're probably made out of real fur. Hey, this is a bit rough going, isn't it? Can't we just start with dinner and drinks, exchange messenger names, you know? If this is the prehistoric women's idea of mating ritual, you have to wonder what their idea of foreplay would be. That's a lot of rough and tumble stuff for sure. Caveman down. Repeat, caveman down. Hey, I got an idea, guys. Why don't you surrender now, get it over with? How bad can it be trapped with these girlies? The girls have now enslaved all the menfolk and are now enjoying a well-deserved bite of woolly mammoth. Yum, 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 yum. Nice to see some girls have healthy appetites. Yes, as you can see, every effort was expended to ensure authenticity in this film, which has stood the test of time to be just as silly today as the day it came out.
Tigri orders the women to feed their men.
Wow, the documentary voiceover. David Attenborough, eat your heart out.
Arva decides that this is a good time for her to make up to Angor and starts to bring him some food.
What, pelts? And now beating animals? Now the voice in my head. Don't lay on the spoilers too thick.
She angrily informs Arva that she has decided that Angor is to be her husband.
Arva, I need.
But Arva violently disagrees.
Tigri, I need.
Ooh, I can hardly wait.
And so the fight is on.
Yes, here it is, at last, the totally gratuitous bearskin bikini babe cat fight scene. Well, this is another sequence of this terrific movie which could possibly stimulate some powerful natural emotions among at least one half of the viewing audience. Then, as now, a very popular form of entertainment.
A gun.
Where's the mud? Oil. A retired wrestler. Even mockumentary becomes somewhat superfluous at this point. You can supply your own internal monologue, guys. You have to remember, these were the days before television. People had to make their own entertainment. She was also one heck of a wrestler, if you ask me. Well, even if you don't. Don't blink. Anyone else feel like mixing it up? You have to ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do ya? Then come on, bring it. No takers, huh? Oh, you go, girl. That Tigri, she be bad. Ah, that Angor, what a chick magnet.
Prehistoric women kicked butt. Anyway, after the cavemen discover fire and its power, they turn the table on their cave ladies and turn them into slaves. Now, they don't turn them into sex slaves, right? Because it's the 1950s. Just like regular slaves. But at some point, the men and the women have to band together to unite against a local giant. We all have a local giant.
Quest for fire. Peterson's next film appearance wasn't for 30 years, playing the giant in an early Jodie Foster film, The Carney. It really is a goldmine of absolutely useless information, isn't it, this show? That's right, guys. If you ever want to get a civilization up and running, the secret is to bang the rocks together, guys. Ah, great. Now we can set ourselves alight before the giant has a chance to crush us. Fire bad. Ouch! Right where he lives, too. That'll learn him. I almost feel sorry for the dude.
Angor orders the other men to encircle the area with fires so they can forge a burning circle of death for Guade.
One by one, the cave girls sneak away, having learned one of the few advantages of being a woman in 150,000 BC. And that is, you can get the big hunks of testosterone like Angor to do the actual sharp end of the fighting. I think that's pretty cool, don't you? Ray, my middle name is Crash, eh? Anyway, Corriganville was eventually opened to the general public as an amusement park, but that was back in prehistoric times. You know what I mean.
Guade is completely bewildered by the leaping flames and terrified by the fire.
Burn, 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 that ring of fire, that ring of fire. Oh well, somebody had to sing it. What a magnificently free performance by the big Icelander. You really get the feeling that he's having an entire existential crisis. I mean, beyond the fear of burning to death, that is.
And sees that his only escape is to go over it.
Ah, Angor, smart. Anyway, you'll all be pleased to know that this display of valor by Angor finally wins Tigri over. They decide to get married and start a tribe on their own. The rest of the prehistoric babes are soon all loved up, moving into some nice little caves and renovating them in the early terrible style.
Tigri looks with admiration at Angor.
Tigri? Iko?
She asks him to change his mind and return to the women's camp with his men, where they can start a new tribe.
Angor, Iko Tigri.
Huh, what did I just say? A happy ending for all the prehistoric women. And some might argue an even happier ending for the prehistoric dudes.
What a wonderful movie. That is if you like scantily clad cave girls fighting over their cavemen, which I'm sure most of you midnight movie lovers do. Wait a minute, I promised you dinosaurs. Fear not, midnight movie lovers. For tonight, we bring you the first dinosaurs ever seen on film. Right now.
The film is The Lost World from 1925. It's about a bunch of explorers who go in search of and find a plateau in the Amazon basin where prehistoric creatures survive. And isn't this one a beauty? Ladies and gentlemen, this was the first stop-motion dinosaur in the history of cinema. And ain't he a beautiful specimen of a predator in the wild? Very witty and amusing. And in the right corner, a huge Allosaurus. In the left, a Trachodon. Or was it the other way around? Either way, it's going to be one heck of a fight, as long as they can keep the plasticine flying fast enough. Hey, you! Yeah, I said you, wise guy. Anyway, you folks back home can supply your own dinosaur fight scene dialogue here. Those dinosaurs sure can dance. Think about it, though. Clay remodeled frame by painstaking frame, and this way back in 1925. This film is a time capsule. Bloke is only doing what a not-so-eco-friendly type would have done in 1925, preparing to shoot everything in sight. Ah, well, that looked like the fatal bite there. And yes, there can be only one winner, and that is the Allosaurus. Oh, the humanity. See? What did I tell you? Vicious pest. Ah, now this would be a Triceratops. And again, remember this came out 68 years before the first Jurassic Park flick. Just watch as Daddy Triceratops ushers away little baby and even Mama Triceratops so he can face his opponent alone. That nasty old Allosaurus, that is. And here comes the big guy now. Looks like one Allosaurus ready to tan some Triceratops hide. Now come on, you kids. Get out of the way and go over and see your Aunt Stegosaurus. Go on, get. Yay! Stuck 'em. Allosaurus, shocked, licks his wound like Bruce Lee, and then makes his way home. And that was that. And the loving Triceratops family continues their grazing day in bliss.
DreamWorks can move over. What do you think of that, claymation lovers? I love the Allosaurus licking his wounds like a baby kitten. Or was that a T-Rex? Anyway, moving swiftly along. Our journey into the dark recesses of prehistory continues, so stay glued to your sofas, midnight movie lovers. We'll be back with more beasts and babes. Good evening and welcome back to our show. Tonight we're looking at prehistoric films featuring cavemen and dinosaurs. Perhaps the greatest caveman of all time was Richard Kiel. After playing Egaw, the caveman, in our next feature, he went on to become the only henchman to appear in not one, but 2 James Bond films. But anyway, check him out as a caveman.
Imagine this dude knocking on your door one dark night. Selling you a cemetery plot. Brr. He's so disoriented, he looks set to attack the girl with this club. Which is interesting because not long after in the story, Iga, not Igor, falls for her the way King Kong fell for Anne Doreau. Relationships, eh? They don't always get off to a smooth start. A great set of wheels. Actually, the Marines in this case come in the form of this obvious 1950s teenage heartthrob, Arch Hall Jr., the Justin Bieber of his day. Well, kinda, but not really.
I don't see anybody.
Yep, nepotism. It's the game the whole family can play.
What? Well, I did. Honest, I saw a giant.
Well, I'd be convinced, wouldn't you? Maybe it's the Reno Beauty Parlor hairstyle and the slightly frumpy dress, but she's meant to be Arch Hall Jr.'s teenage girlfriend, and she looks about 30.
A prehistoric giant.
She goes on lying.
How about it, Tom?
Why are you asking Tommy?
Like I told you, Mr. Miller, I wasn't there until afterwards.
Yeah, Tommy is not the sharpest pencil in the box.
Sure, Roxy, but I mean giants.
There were giants. The Bible says so.
Ah, the Bible, the good book.
In the book of Genesis, something about in those days, giants walked the earth.
You see, the guy here who's paying for this whole debacle, dear old Dad, is also the producer of the movie, remember?
Oh, this thing can wait until morning. Now, you kids go and take your swim before the pool closes.
But no skinny dipping.
In the morning now.
It's a promise.
What's a promise? Later, in this riveting cinematic masterpiece, dear old Dad, Roxy, and Tommy go looking for the prehistoric giant. Pops gets lost and then captured by Ega, and so naturally Roxy is left alone long enough that the giant can capture her also. Looks like he's going to take her back to his cave. Bit surprised he's not dragging her by the hair in the traditionally approved manner. Meanwhile, Tommy, the teenage heartthrob, searches the hills for cave entrances that have a lived-in look. That is, while he can stay on his feet. Bungling fool. Bungling fool with a cool set of wheels, though, I will say. I mean to say, great dune buggy, bro.
Roxy, where are you?
This is something of a variation on Come Back to My Place, Babe, and we'll check out my etchings. Or in this case, check out my collection of shrunken heads. They're all relatives.
Well, that one looked like a very important ancestor. Shake hands with him, Roxy.
Oh, Dad.
And that would be dear old Dad again, Arch Hall Sr., who Ega has outwitted and captured.
Now there's a family I'd want to introduce my caveman to. Not. Roxy manages to get out of that sticky situation, but not for long. Ega, the caveman's fallen in love, and there's no turning back.
Naturally, the noble savage has fallen in love with Roxy and her strange Nancy Reagan beehive hairstyle. In a mad quest to track her down, Ega goes on a rampage, beginning with wanton destruction of public property. Just look at the way he brushes aside those potted plants, the godless savage. Dare you to keep watching. Anyway, he's acting as fast as he can, given the material. And given all the time the camera spends shooting him from behind, he's also back-acting as fast as he can. Or backting, as we call it in the industry. In case it's not crystal clear, midnight movie lovers, he's got a scrap of Roxy's dress and is sniffing around to see if anything smells the same. Now, some people might consider that quite romantic, but then some people probably ought to be locked up. Parental discretion advised. Functioning doors were harmed during the making of this film. So if you can't bear to watch senseless destruction of private property, the time to turn away would be now. Many people do not realize that actor playing Ega was actually only 5'9". This set was a miniature. Ah yes, the all-you-can-eat buffet. And there goes Ega's caveman diet. Yes, there really is such a thing. You graze on fruit and nuts all day, and then eat whatever you like in the evening. Anyway, this is kind of gearing up to the film's big climactic scene. The byline for Ega was Ega, the name written in blood. And yet this restaurant scene is just about as violent as it gets in this flick. The people in the scene were miniatures as well. Now wait a minute. This horny young couple... They look ripe to be on the receiving end of a bit of old primitive savagery.
What is this, a masquerade?
That is Miller's giant, darling.
Oh, come on, you can talk plainer than that. Look out, Mr. Cushman, he's for real. What did he say?
He's real.
Of course, he's real.
Oh my God. No, the unspeakable horror.
Quick, call the police.
He shoved someone into the pool. It's too horrific. I can barely stand to watch. Now he shoved 2 people into the pool. The horror. The horror. It seems plausible that the producers might have even considered having him throw 3 people into the pool, but such gratuitous violence may not have made it past the censors. Ah, the long arm of the law. They look like your standard redneck cops, probably by names like Elrod and Cletus. And there's young Tommy, rocking and rolling. A little bit of Back to the Future for you. How does he get reverb on his voice with no microphone?
Egal may be a giant, but he can't swim. So I guess you know how this story's gonna end. Face down in the pool.
Ah, well, never mind. I'm sure his spirit has floated up to that great cave in the sky.
Remember, I love you.
Where did he come from?
Is he real?
Who is he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
It says
Does on his club, or in the book of Genesis.
there were giants
That's right.
in those days. Chapter 4, verse 32.
Genesis 4:32. There might be giants.
Tragic. But that's the history of mankind. Speak softly and carry a big stick. I mean, strike first and ask questions later? I don't know. Well, you know what I mean, but even if you don't, here's a caveman you will not feel sorry for. Check out Prisoners of the Lost Universe.
Yes, for reasons that might not be immediately apparent unless we point them out, this is one of the most politically incorrect films in the midnight movie canon. And there it is, The Lost Universe, lovingly recreated on the South African veld. It even has its own gate. I'll bet that's the last time they ever travel by coach. These are the bad guys with their captive, a TV reporter chick who has accidentally crossed over into their dimension from the heady days of 1983. As you can see, she's a looker, but as you'll see in a minute, she has competition in the Lost Universe. Yeah, guys, I know what you're thinking. My goodness, who's this? Hello. Slaking the thirst. Cherie.
Always the little mother.
My lord.
Bosk, bring the woman.
Yes, folks, you heard him. It's that kind of flick. The kind of flick where the main female character is referred to as the woman.
Mr. Man, I want them to see what happens to those who plot against me. Hair the color of the sun. What would you give to have hair the color of the sun, Cherie? She'd have the scalp of your pretty head. Venturine would sell her soul to be anything other than the half-breed slave that she is.
Uncomfortable racist attitudes alert. Didn't Max say we were running out of time?
Well, goodbye for now. And cavewomen, remember, you've got to fight for your caveman. And caveman, be gentle with your cavewoman. Buy her flowers once in a while.